Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Heart of Christ Ministry. I am your host, Reverend Shaun Robert Grant. And as always, I hope, I know, I believe, I have faith that this message is finding you absolutely fantastic in this moment and every moment to follow right after. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. So, a few things we're going to get into before we get into today's message. I want to take a moment to thank everyone for their support and their appreciation of me and of this ministry. Words can't begin to express how good that makes me feel and how grateful I am to you and to your kindness. All right. And so, a few things, few lines of business before we get going. As always, ladies and gentlemen, if you have anything you want to write to this ministry about, as far as prayer, as far as standing in agreement for divine solutions, what else? If you have any comments, if you have any thoughts you want to share about how we're doing and things that you may want me to talk about or extrapolate truth on in the future, by all means, send me an email, send this ministry an email at shaung04@gmail.com, and we will step into it as soon as we can. I can. And I'm happy to do that. And I'm happy to correspond and communicate. And once again, we got a great message planned for you today because I know that every message is great. Today, it's going in a bit of a different direction with relationships, but I think it's very important that we understand relationships and their foundation of our own lives. But before we get into that, what I want you to do is, if you are feeling generous this morning, if you're feeling that this ministry has helped you to some capacity, to some degree, what I'd like you to do is, and if it's coming from a place of complete and utter love, I'd like you to sow a seed into this ministry and understand that the seed that you sow into this ministry is something that's just not expanding in my life and the life of my ministry, but in your life as well. And because of that, you can continue to be a part of the growth that we're experiencing here. So if it resonates in love and you feel that it's right to do, guess what? Go for it. Do it. Venmo, Heart of Christ Ministry, PayPal, ShaunG04@gmail.com. Thank you in advance for your generosity and kindness. And I know what you've all been waiting for, the segment of the day. And let me see if I can time this up correctly. The segment of the day is, Where's My Abundance? All right. So, where's my abundance? So basically, if this is your first time watching and you're not sure how this game plays out, instead of us looking at what's not there, instead of us discovering what is not present in our own lives, we're going to find everything that's present in our lives that we're grateful for, whether it's tangible or intangible. And what I'd encourage you to do is share it in the comment section after you discover. I'm going to give you 2 rounds of 30 seconds for you to discover, and then we're all going to share what we come up with. 1 thing, 2 things, 5 things, whatever it is, lay it into the comments, and then we will go from there. All right. Are you ready for me? 30 seconds and hit it. Just love that music. Good. Yeah. All righty. Okay. Now think about that. What are you grateful for? Where is your abundance? And keep this in mind. It can be anything. It can be the clothes you wear. It can be the complex you stay in. It can be anything, anyone, any person. Dive deep. right? Because what this game show does is it sets your consciousness forward into a having, a prosperity, a wealth type consciousness as opposed to what is lacking. All right. So one more round for you. Think clearly, and guess what? Allow it to come to you. And when it comes to you, be grateful for it and understand this is just one of the many infinite aspects of your abundance. All right. One more 30-second, I'm about to say 30-minute round. One more 30-second round coming at you right now. Where is my abundance? 20 seconds. Here we go. Here comes the countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great job. All right. Where's my abundance? Remember to put your abundance into the comment section if you would. My abundance I'm going to share with you today is human and divine connection. All right. Human and divine connection. I'm so grateful that I'd have a divine, benevolent spirit guides, guardians to connect with all the time. I'm grateful that I have my wife, the friends in my life to connect with. I am grateful. That is my abundance. Human and divine connection, which is basically the same thing. So that wraps that up. Where's my abundance is signing off. Let's get into our message for today. I love that theme music. Found that this morning. But anyway, today we're going to take a bit of a different turn and we're going to talk about relationships. Okay, so I love how powerful and how magnificent, but more importantly, how much of a significance relationships play within our lives. And so today I'm going to show you how to build life-sustaining relationships that bring so much joy to your life, that bring so much fulfillment, right? Because ultimately it's our relationships that make our life worth living. And so if relationships aren't present, as much as some people like to believe, your life is going to suffer, right? Because no man or woman was ever meant to be an island, but was always meant to be connected to someone, somewhere, something, some people, right? We all have a space to be connected in, and it's about finding that space. And once you get into that space, thriving within the group by offering everything that you are. So that kind of ties into today to what we're going to talk about. And I've laid out some bullet points that, I just want to share with you that I feel like will help any relationship thrive, whether it's romantic, whether it's platonic, whatever it is. Relationships are the foundation of life. And when you don't have them, loneliness can really be a serious thing to encounter at that point in time. Okay, so let's get into this. And so what I did is, for me, because I have a greater understanding of how the mind works now, it's always about asking questions, right? Asking empowering questions to your mind, because all of a sudden you fire off new neural pathways to attempt to get insight on something that you might have not necessarily figured out, so to speak, or known for that matter. But the question begins to help you to dive within. And so in any relationship, we have to ask ourselves, and this is not something we ask one time, it's something we ask all the time. Are we living through the filter of divine love? Okay. Are we living through the filter of divine love? And when we say divine love, some people just say love, but I like to use divine love. Divine love is just unconditional love. Divine love is unconditional love, acceptance, and truth of what is. It's basically lacking, not lacking, but it chooses not to go in the form of resistance, but it chooses to accept and to embrace all things, all people at all times. Okay, no matter what it is. And why does divine love do this? Because divine love knows that every single atom, particle, wave, person, anything, any organism, inorganism, it's all God. It's all God. It's all that is. That's basically what everything is. So, in knowing that, it takes that philosophy, right, or that belief in truth and puts it into relationships. And I'm talking about someone who has been able to embody this, right? So I'm telling you from experience, you take this, you put it into your relationships. You know what you do more so than anything else. Any tension, any high anxiety type energy is completely diffused, right? Because when does anxiety show up? Anxiety shows up when people attempt to control other people, when people attempt to control situations that involve other people that are in a relationship with. Divine love just allows things to be, right? So in the past, it was like always trying to make sure everything went correctly. And then now you just kind of let things be the way that they are. You make it a point that you understand, once again, everybody's doing the very best that they can with what they have, right? With what they've been given, with what they know, with where their relationship with God and the divine is, they're doing the very best that they can, right? And so if you've committed to be in a relationship, commit to it. Don't have one foot in and then one foot out, and then all of a sudden you want to run away when it's not going well. The truth of the matter is, love means I accept you for who you are at this moment, no more, no less. And whoever that is, the number one thing you have to take from this, and this will let you know if you stay in this relationship or if you hit the road. Are you a better person for being in this relationship? And this goes for romantic, this goes for platonic. Am I a better individual? Am I a better person? Am I a greater person? Do I find that I'm growing? Do I find that I am becoming someone who is in alignment with what my heart seeks for myself? And these are simple questions, but if you can answer yes, 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 guess what? You're in the right friendship. You're in the right relationship. If you got to think about it, and then you really have to think about it some more, and then you sort of like start to begin to see that, well, maybe I'm not in the right relationship. Maybe this is not the best for me. From there, you make a point to figure out how to get out of it or how to let go of it, right? Because life becomes too precious. I don't want to say short, but life is too precious to spend time with people that don't add value to your life and you not being able to add value to their lives. Okay. It's a reciprocating type energy that has to take place in order for a relationship to be sustaining and successful. And we have to ask, are we living through the filter of divine love? And this just comes down to acceptance, complete acceptance, unconditional and complete love, and allowing someone to be better. And so before I move to number 2, which ties into this, it's okay. If somebody wakes up and they're angry, help them through it. Right? Allow them to talk to you. Because see, forgiveness was yesterday. And if we integrate forgiveness into our relationships and we allow people to have that space to say what they're feeling, it keeps it from being locked up, and it keeps them from being triggered and set off in any way that could be detrimental to the relationship. So always give people that space. If they want to get it, if they feel like they're angry about something, talk to them. Don't force it out, but say, I'm here for you. I'm a space, let me know what you're feeling. Right. And you should do that for yourself. What am I feeling? Go back and watch the other video from yesterday. Okay. So number 1, are we living through a filter of divine love? Number 2, okay. Are we free of judgment and criticism within our relationships? Now I'm going to tell you, if you want to really mess up a relationship, and I know how jacked up that sounds, if you want to really mess up a relationship, judge yourself, judge everybody else, and criticize yourself and everybody else. that will sever the bond, the deep bond of a relationship quicker than fire. Like it basically is a proverbial fire to your relationship. Why? Because what it does is it amplifies the not so attractive qualities in somebody else. And at any point in time, there's never a place where you should judge somebody or you should be. And when I say criticism, I'm not talking about the loving criticism, the optimistic criticism that says, you know what, I really love what you're doing, but let's attempt to see if we can do it in a better way, right? That's loving criticism. Criticism I'm talking about is you basically take someone down because, you just feel like you have to do that, or your ego is running this game of inferior, superior, where, you need to make yourself feel superior and make the other person feel inferior. It doesn't work, right? If you want any relationship to last for a long time, and especially when you're dealing with sensitive people, right? And sensitive people are men and women all alike. Like, you're just not going to succeed if you're living from a place of judgment and criticism. And where does it start? It starts within us, right? It starts within ourselves. It starts how we talk to ourselves, right? When you drop something, let's say, for instance, you break a glass, right? Do you break the glass and say, damn it, I'm so stupid. My God, I'm so clumsy. Do you say that? Or do you say, you know what? It's just a glass. Let me clean it up. I've got another one. That happened. Things happen. I can move on from this, right? So what is your reaction, right? Because it starts with you. And here's the most amazing thing about the way God has set up the universe to work for everybody, everyone, in all of our favors. You begin to receive the very thing you give to yourself. Okay? I'm going to say that again. You begin to receive the very thing you give to yourself. All right? And so what does that mean? You give yourself love, right? You give yourself love on a conscious level, self-love as we call it. Guess what happens? You receive love from the outside, right? You give yourself hatred, you're going to come across some hatred. Anger, you're going to come across some anger. But it all starts within with you. So tying back into number one, you have to filter your own life for yourself first and foremost through divine love, right? And that's giving yourself the benefit of the doubt, no matter what it may be or what happens to you. Say, you know what? I did the best that I could with what I had. I did the best that I could with what I knew how to do at the time. And if you're a parent, I'm telling you, give your children the benefit of the doubt. A lot of kids growing up, I mean, we can look back so many generations, but I can tell you, let's say we go back 5, 6, 7 decades, which are now adults now, really like senior citizens, you take them all the way back and they never got the benefit of the doubt from their parents. They never got, not everybody, but most people never got the whole thing. You know what? You did your best. And that's what counts. That's what matters for me. Just keep at it. You'll find a way to get it done and get it done right. That is what people need to hear, no matter what age they are. They need to hear that. They don't need to hear that they're stupid. They don't need to hear that they messed up. They don't need to hear that they're less than, what they're striving to be. They're doing their best. So what makes us think that we can judge and criticize? Well, when we're judging and criticizing ourselves within, guess what? We're going to give it and we're going to take some of that too. And that's just how the law works, because life is just an outpicturing of us. Your partners, your friends are just a reflection of you, right? So if you're talking about them, you're actually talking about yourself. whether it's good or bad, but they're just reflecting who you are. So when I found that out, okay, I'm embracing everything, and guess what? All my friends left. All my relationships ended. No, but seriously, that can happen because sometimes people are linked to certain characteristics within yourself. And so when that is the case, they're just basically bouncing your consciousness off of them. Like they are a reflection of your consciousness is what I'm trying to say. So in knowing that, choose love, choose self-love first, and never criticize or judge anybody for anything, because it's not our place to do that, right? If they ask you for advice, the first question you need to ask yourself, okay, how can I do this in the most loving way possible? Because with our loved ones and the people we're close to, we almost have to tenderize. I've never believed in that, although it's benefited me, I've never believed in that, tough love, like trying to harden somebody, because not everybody functions that way, right? As a matter of fact, that hardens the heart of most people, I think. But we've got to be tender. We've got to say, you know what, let's embrace them first and foremost with love and let them know that it's okay for whatever's happening to happen. And then let's pick them up in love. Let's empower them. Let's encourage them, right? That becomes the most important thing in any relationship, because guess what? You do that for somebody, it's going to open their heart more to you, and that bond that you guys share is going to be greater. I promise you. It never fails, right? Always choose love. Always be free from criticism and judgment. All right. So number 3, are we thinking, expecting, and talking the very best about the people in our relationships? And so I want you to really think about that, right? So when you're with your friends, do you talk about your husband, right? Did you talk about all the wrong stuff that he's done? When you're with your friends, are you discussing that your wife is just not raising the bar, coming up to speed? This is a big, big problem, right? Because the fact of the matter is, if your friendship is going to last, you got to have these conversations with the person that you are discussing. The worst thing you can do is go and tell your friends, tell anybody else other than the person you're in a relationship with, friendship, platonic or romantic. You've got to talk to them, right? And if you're talking stuff that's bad, you know what the first thing you got to do? Remember how we said they're a reflection of you? You're actually talking about yourself, right? So I'm telling you, the universe is very slick, because our partner can be doing something that we absolutely just repulses us. And it's something that we need to change. And like, we could be sitting up there saying, oh, that's terrible. I don't like that. I don't know what's wrong with them. Oh my goodness. And it's the very thing that we need to change in ourselves, right? So don't be so quick to talk and criticize, because ultimately, sometimes and most times, these are things that we've got to change within ourselves. That's why it's unfolding the way that it's unfolding, right? It's kind of hard to wrap your head around that, but it makes so much sense, because I can guarantee you, if you come to a place of acceptance for that thing that you're criticizing that other individual of, it will go away completely. It never fails. Every time you come to a place of acceptance. Now, I'm not saying you need to be abused or beat up or anything like that, but if there's something that bothers you, and you go within yourself first, and your divine guidance is telling you, let it go, or it's giving you a place where you're being triggered, and you work that out, you won't ever see that again. And I've lived it. I've lived it, friendships, relationships. It happens that way. Our highest priority is to always come within ourselves and to see what we may be contributing that brings about this type of behavior, right? And once we know what our part in it, because we always have a part in it, because consciousness would not be if we weren't reflecting the thing that's happening in front of us, then we go to our partner and we talk about it, right? And here's the thing. Even if you're going through the worst possible time, even if it's difficult, think, expect, talk the very best of the people you love, regardless of anything. Don't go behind their backs and call them names. Don't go behind their backs and say that, they're this, they're that, right? Because one, you're only talking about yourself. And two, on a psychic level, and this is really getting kooky, no, it's not really kooky. Psychic, anyway, on a psychic level, they can feel it. That's what I'm trying to say. They can feel those emotions, right? Case in point. And this is something that never fails. You go out somewhere and let's say you talk about your partner, right? Talk about them good, right? Talk about them good. Talk about them well. Say a lot of great things. You can feel that. Your partner can feel that. And you're going to get a response from that when you come back to your partner, because there is a psychic bond, a psychic connection that is even more so strengthened by the more time you spend around this person or these individuals. They're going to know on a psychic emotional capacity, on that level, that plane, they're going to know what it is. They're going to feel something, even if they can't consciously say, I know you've been talking about me. Something won't feel right. It'll manifest as like chest anxiety or stress in the chest or sick in the stomach. But that shows you how powerful emotions and words and thoughts can be as it relates to the people that we love, right? So why not, before you go to say something about somebody else, and I'm telling you, this is key. This is the key to any successful relationship. What part have I played in this? You always have to ask yourself, what part have I played in this happening and unfolding? Or what is this attempting to teach me is a better question. That's all you have to ask. What is this attempting to teach me? Divine guidance will always give you the answer. It will never fail in giving you the answer that makes the most sense for you, that allows you to emotionally free yourself up and move forward, right? And that's all you have to do. Ask. Just ask without question. Ask. Go within. Before you start accusing, before you start shooting darts, ask. And then once you find it out, okay, how do I respond in love? How do I respond from a place of divine love? And just in case this becomes a situation where it's like anger is involved. For me, anytime I've ever gotten really angry, I always take a walk to cool off, because I know that I've played some part in this, right? And it takes a spiritually, emotionally mature person to be able to say, I played a part in this. Right? But once you do, you have better relationships for it, because you're not so quick to blame other people for anything that you experience. But after you do that, then you're able to see things with a level head. Then you're able to say, you know what? Okay, I can see where I was wrong here. I can man up or woman up to make sure that I'm taking care of that in that aspect. Let me move forward with this by talking to my partner, by talking to my friend about it and communicating. And ultimately, as long as you can communicate, as long as you can communicate to your partner, to your friend, you will be fine. And when I say communication, I don't mean shouting over each other, right? I mean One person talks, expresses how they feel. The other person talks, expresses how they feel. Each time one person is talking, the other person is listening intently to see what type of jumping off point the other person is coming from. And then from there, what do? We come together and we figure out a compromise, right? And we learn from the situation and we go on to be happy. And guess what? Through all this rigmarole, the bond of the relationship is built to be stronger, right? So it's really neat. Embrace a lot of times the stuff, the disagreements, the sometimes getting angry, the sometimes getting agitated and aggravated. That brings you closer together. I don't know why, but it brings you closer together when you work through problems with someone and you come to a conclusion and you find you love each other more after it's all done. It is one of the greatest aspects of a self-sustaining, life-enhancing relationship, albeit romantic or platonic. That's it. I don't even have enough time. I'd probably be here like 5 hours talking about relationships, but I think 30 minutes is enough. So with that being said, guys, if you have any questions about today's message, if you want to expand a bit more on what we've discussed, I encourage you, write to us. Once again, we put this up earlier, but we're going to do it again. Write to us at ShaunG04@gmail.com. If you have prayer requests, if you are in a relationship and you need divine insight, I'll stand in prayer with you. I'll come into agreement with you. We can even write out intention statements to help, try and gain some clarity, right? Because sometimes the thing we pray for doesn't come, but the thing that's stopping the thing we pray for comes to us, right? And so that is really important to know. That's a really good bit of advice. I got to write that down somewhere. Anyway, write to us if you have any of those requests. And if, you just want to drop in a good line for the ministry, that would be very awesome as well. Yes. So happy to do that. And seed time. Yes. Sow a seed like in the beginning as well. If you decide that this message, this content, this ministry has inspired you, uplifted you, encouraged you, made you feel more driven and determined to be the very best that you can be in your life in every single area of it, let that kindness and generosity come through as a love gift in the energy of money, but only from the place of love. Know that your seed that comes in, I will pray over it, that it expands, not just in the life of this ministry in my life, but in your life as well. So thank you in advance for sowing the seed. Venmo, Heart of Christ Ministry, PayPal, ShaunG04@gmail.com, Apple Pay upon request, and anything else we can figure out. With that being said, guys, this is it. Like Michael Jackson, this is it for today. And I'm telling you, take care of your relationships. Take care of your relationships, because if you take care of your relationships, you will live a happier, more joyful, fulfilled life under every circumstances. Because, we come here ultimately to experience the joy of our relationships. And so when we know that that's one of the highest objectives, it's important to know how to make those things thrive. I just gave you 3 ways, right? 3 dynamic ways to make them thrive. Hop to it. All right. Thanks so much for joining us, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.